The more we realize that our stories and our experiences are actually part of history, the more I think people will feel empowered to record that and to share it, because it makes it feel relevant, right? Because so much of what we experience, we're just like, this is just my experience. I don't think anybody else really cares. This is not part of history. This is not part of the narrative. But it's like, no, it's like, be part of controlling the narrative, be part of controlling history, because so much has been lost. I mean, you think about how much of our tradition, was lost as people were crossing the ocean in the most horrific ways. How much of our history is at the bottom of the Atlantic, but how much we are able to still share despite it. There's still points of connectivity through oral tradition, etc. I mean, man, imagine if we had been allowed to, not punished, to be able to read and write, how much more could be shared. So I think that that's even more empowering to realize, help people understand that history is happening every single day. So even though it's current right now, it'll be history in the future. So make sure that you are still sharing your story, and make sure that you realize how relevant they are. And I do a presentation in schools sometimes. It talks about, why your story matters. Because, for instance, for me, writing the Juneteenth story, Juneteenth was just what we went through. It was what we did. I didn't think twice about it, especially when you're a kid. You're like, I go to the Juneteenth celebration. Sometimes I help, our family has a food stand, or I help sell snow cones, or maybe we make little crafts. Or maybe this year we're just more so walking around talking to everybody, because everybody knows my auntie and she's like the mayor of Buffalo. So we're going to stop every 2 seconds, and say hi to somebody. And then other people that we see are our cousins, because we have a bazillion cousins living around Buffalo. And so I just think about it that way. But it wasn't for me personally until I left Buffalo and tried to find a Juneteenth celebration. And I was like, in Boston, I was like, where's Juneteenth? There are Black communities in the Boston area, but I didn't really see much of a Juneteenth. Even when I was living in New York, too, I was like, where's Juneteenth? And they're like, oh, we have like Harlem Week. We've got some other stuff. We've got other African-American celebrations, but Juneteenth wasn't one of them. And so I was like, oh, I guess Buffalo is special in that way.
Yeah, it is.
And, that's when you start realizing, in the absence of what you had, that it's actually special.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
You don't know what you got till it's gone,
I love that. I love that.